Hello, beautiful dancer, and welcome for another appointment of A Cup of Tea, which is our weekly conversation about soulful and creative fusion belly dance. I'm Lamia Barbara, your host, and I am so excited to bring you this interview with Antonella Sciahina. Antonella is a fusion belly dance teacher, instructor, and choreographer from Rome, Italy, and she has a career of over 20 years of teaching and dancing. And during this interview, she will share with us her journey in dance, how she started belly dance and fusion belly dance, and also a few very valuable tips on how to create a balance between passion, work, and life outside of dance, because this is so powerful in our lives and so important. And at the same time, she's going to share with us a very interesting perspective on the difference between tribal fusion and what it's being called nowadays fusion belly dance, and a lot more inspiration from this beautiful interview. So enjoy, have your cup of tea or coffee ready.
So thank you so much, Antonella, for being here today.
Thank you, Lamia, for inviting me.
I am so glad to have you here.
I need to have you in a big screen.
Here I am. I'm so glad to have you here today because I wanted to interview from a long time. And finally, I got this moment to share with you here.
Thank you.
So my first question for you is a question that I always share with my guests, which is, let's start from the very beginning. How did you started your journey in dance and specifically in belly dance?
Okay, so long time ago. Yeah, I think I like my first big memory with dance was when I got at 5 years old as a present the tape, because at that time it was 1990. So it was the tape with the soundtrack of the Little Mermaid from Disney movie. And so I choreographed side A and side B, the wall, and then I asked to my favorite uncle and aunt to stay there, sit, and watch me performing the wall, side A and side B continuously. So that was my first dance experience, and definitely I was in the childhood. I spent the childhood dancing by myself, because in the school, like the breaks with other kids was dance time. Like we brought in class Hitmania dance, and we put the cereal at the table of the teacher, and so around the table of the teacher was disco. So that was beautiful. And when it was outside, when it was not in the class, the break, we continued to choreograph with partners, also because it was Nonella Rai period. That was a television program that was during the afternoon, that influenced our generation for sure, because there were teen or young lady dancing, and it was horrible. Like actually, if you see it from now, for all the awareness, like 90s were weird. So it was a lot of sexualization of the woman. However, the good of that, it was that they were dancing and singing all the hits and the songs, and so because they do it on TV, it was normal to do. So that was how we spent our break during school, choreographing songs, and also was a lot probably influenced by the fact that since very, very young. I remember the first memory I had, I was 3 years old. But for the whole childhood, like during summertime or holiday, my parents, my family was from the south. So I used to go there and to be the mascot of some of my family work in for a theater company, and they were specialized in musical. So I remember that the fact that I always be in the backstage, and so I was part of the production. So I definitely that have influenced me also, because I remember like my first really my real stage first experience was at 8 years old, with thousands of people in the center of Brindisi, which is a city in the south, because they were prepared a musical about San Francis the saints. I probably was a religious holiday important from the city, so they had to bring this show in the middle of the square with thousands of people. They worked with us with the guys, like I don't know, but like adults, and I was there mascotting that, and there was like the little sister of someone. So my cousin, who was the director, say, okay, you can be part of the show with your friend, and you can be the flowers. So just dancing in the background in this piece and this piece as the flowers. Okay, what we do? Wherever you want. Wow, the power.
Oh, the best.
So I choreographed everything. So I remember perfectly the moment that I jumped on the stage and my partner freezed completely at like 8 years old, 7 years old. I remember completely freeze, because it was thousands of people, and it was the first time. And for me, it was like the most natural thing. And so I was like, come on, so what happened? So, and I was all suggesting all the choreography, because like, what happened? What is happening to you? Like, come on, so it is this. Mm-hmm. So this was my first time. And then I remember in middle school, we had this project with African dance teacher, because that was the first time that in the school they talk about multicultural, like now it's so common, but at that time, no. So it was a great project that we did with this huge event that they organize in Rome each year, Intermundia, I remember the name of this, with schools from all Italy come in this huge event, thousands of students with all nations and all dances and folklore and culture exchange it was. And so we worked with this dance teacher about some Central Eastern African dances, all traditional dances, and we had to perform at that event, but mostly of the dance was in partner, in two. So he chose me as a partner. So we were the only one on stage with all these thousands of students, and all the other students dancing downstage with all the other. Yeah, so this was like my first were huge. huge stage, yes. And then nothing after, at 15 years old, do you remember that time we had the huge book with all the numbers for any activity, tutto città. So I think everywhere in the world, but it is another vintage thing. So we for Rome, it was something like that. It was huge. So I often say, okay, I want to looking for a dance school that do belly dance. And I was 15 years old, and I find it, and I start doing classes, paying the first classes with, you know, like the little kind of salary that you're starting to have when you are a teenager. It was like very, very like 10, 15 at least mila lire. And so with that, I started for one class, and after not even 1 year, I was like doing 2 classes and asked for mom if she could pay me the more, because the second year I was studying with my teacher and the teacher of my teacher. So, and then after 2 years, I already started to work, because I was like really in the first generation of the belly dancer performers in Rome. So I was so young, I was 17, and I was a professional performer. Obviously, like I was like kicked in the work world, and it is not definitely how I would suggest to do now, but definitely like it made me. So I'm grateful also for have been kicked since very, very young.
On stage.
Yes, because that gave me the chance to start so young, and so to have a very, very long career and experience that made me what I am now. So after 10 years of teaching, at that point, I understood that now I'm a teacher. I had this illumination about, but yeah, how I could do before without all this awareness and experience. But yes, like it was worth it at the same. So everyone has his own path, but everyone has a special path. Mine was this. So yes, this was my dance.
Wow.
Yes. Oh, and about that why belly dance? I don't have the memory of the first thing that I've seen. That whoa, no. I can get to that memory. Probably I need a hypnosis section to get back to that memory. Really, because I since a long time I couldn't get that. The first memory about belly dance was at 13 in my first study trip for English in Ireland, and I was in a family, and the other students from other parts of the world. There was one French girl. We were speaking. She was original from Algeria, and she said, "I can belly dance." And I remember me say, "I know belly dance, and I want to learn it." But I can get before that memory. So then I just opened the book, belly dance, go belly dance. And that's how everything.
And now you're here. Fast forward many years. There you
Oh!
Who knows? There's such a cosmic connection with belly dance. Who knows? Maybe we need really like someone who can dig into your memories, or maybe not. Maybe we can just leave the little mystery around it. You know, feels good.
Oh, maybe the meditation I will have
someday. Like
exactly. Who knows?
Who knows? So this was your dance, and also very performance centered story, because since such a young child you already were performing and had this in your bones, like in your blood. You really felt it.
Yes, I think dance has to be the only choice, even when I didn't know it, because it was supposed to be my job. I didn't decided to have it as a job. It was my hobby. It was my passion for a long time. Even when I started as a performer when I was 17, but even like until 20, 26 years old. I didn't think about belly dance as a job, and probably that saved me, because I wasn't I didn't do it in at that time. I was thinking about like getting students, like monetizing.
Yeah, definitely.
And so all the choices that I did was for me, but that made money that I could use to reinvest in studying and traveling, and so. But then there was a moment, I think that was the click moment in my life, because I was used to, I have studied for a cinema study, so I was also used to work in the cinema and television industry. But during the time, it was like once a year with a movie production, and I was paying all my bills, and I was able to have an adult life without never asking. Like I could pay my bills, I could live alone, I could do my life. Because of what? Because of belly dance. Because it was already 10 and more like years of doing it, and I was already known, and people were calling me to do things. So when my father passed away, I had this moment that I don't know, I know that for Native American there is this way to say that you became an adult when when there is the father loss. And actually it is like a kind of bit, because it feels like even if I was independent since a long time, but it is like you don't have that cover on your back anymore. So that was the moment that I had to face, okay, where you have done to project all your energy and your activity, and then also professionalize the way of monetize, because you have to live with that. So it is the real professional
switch.
Yes.
Yeah.
Even if you were a pro since
but
also
you
there
didn't
are
have
all
that.
these layers in the belly dance profession.
Yes, of course. You can do it like a side hustle. It can be your passion, your hobby. You can do that as your main career. But that's good that you didn't start as a career, because you then had the time to find the most aware way to find the good passion and money balance. Also, how the way you propose yourself, So that's definitely a good.
Yes, I enjoyed the most I could, and I was not like I didn't have to do compromise with the economic aspect of living with this, and it is also good for my age. Come on, like I started so young, and so it is also good that the first part of my career was performing based a lot, and then there was the teaching, and mostly on teaching. So I feel lucky for the path that I have done in dance, and actually was written even if I remember my first memory to I was 5 years, still 5 years old, and I was jumping on the bed of my parents. I know what I want to do in when I will be big dancer. And my father said, well, actually, if you then break a leg, you cannot work. And at 30 years old, your career would be finished. So I was at 5 years old, responsibilized already say, oh no, that's not. So I could do dance because he wanted to do swim. So like, but then in some way, so it came out in a
you had that
dance form. Maybe if you would let me do modern dance since young, who knows what might. But what I mean is that somewhere has to.
Yeah, you already had it. It was like this seed that you were aware of, and then it wanted to bloom. It definitely had. So.
But I have to say, because I don't want to be not good interpreted, that definitely, yes, I also needed to, like when my father passed away, the fact, like he liked the job that I do, but as a parent, he preferred if something more stable, you know what I mean? But the fact that also I think I was free of being my profession at that point. And I'm sure that wherever he is now, he's so much proud of what I'm doing and what I've done. So, but psychologically, this have let me believe in me as a professional. That would be my street, my way.
Yeah, well, I'm sure he's proud of you. I'm so sure. Yeah, like seriously.
Thank you.
Yeah, and I jump into another question just from here, because you said that after 10 years you discovered like, whoa, I'm so aware now, I am a teacher, you know? You just said that, and I love and resonate so much with what you said. And there is this also way of saying in India that after 10 years of practicing, you can call yourself a dancer. And it's just the same with teaching, with everything in life, right? You just need those years of practicing and testing and being in the lab to find your own way of doing the thing, right? To absorb.
A deep absorption, like a sponge. Like, okay, if you put a sponge in a little container, it will be fast. But if you have like a sea, like you need a lot of time to absorb, and so it's the same. You can't even if you do all the training, and also if you study that, but still you need the time for your brain, your body, your awareness to absorb and to integrate. It's a chemistry also, I think. It's
definitely.
So yes,
yeah. Time, definitely. And also learning a lot, being curious a lot, and studying a lot. And you definitely studied with a lot of teachers and you've been everywhere to just grab that inspiration directly from the source. And so my question for you is, what is the best advice that one of your teachers or more than your teachers ever gave you in your dance journey? That one seed that you still keep with you and inspires you?
Okay. Well, there was once Mirabetz that during a workshop that was not that was related with the professional with the profession of dancer. So she advised us to don't how to say, don't miss the point. Like, don't I don't even can have the word in Italian, sorry. Not sacrificare, trascurare.
how do you say that in English?
So, like,
have
forget,
it in your gaze. Like, don't
like
forget.
forgetting. Don't think it is important about your personal life and personal connection, like your family. Okay. Because I always remember this sentence, because they will not be your student at the side of your dating bed. They will be your dears, your family, then your family can also be a dance student. Who knows? Because family is
Why
open.
not?
But however, this was very important that I kept with me, the fact to don't forget that while you are building that your dance world, which is complex, obviously, is not only your work, your career. It's such a more deep and important necessity. Is a way for you to be alive and sane. So it is so much. So, but because the focus on the career and work and also because working with this is such a hard work that needs lots of energy and time and a lot of yourself. But while you have to work and manage all this, don't forget to nourish and to work with the other thing of your life, which are so much important, and sustain you. And it is your force. Is when you fell down in your career, that you turned and you have. So it's so important.
So important.
Better
Yeah, I remember. Yeah, definitely better. And I remember Mira once said also something similar during a workshop. She said, not this similar, but it came to my mind just that she said, we as belly dancers in the dance career world have such a different position, because we're not only dancer, we're also the ones that take care of the costumes, of the music, of the graphic, graphic designers, web designer, everything. Yeah, maybe you come to a point in your life where you can have like a team that can have your back and help you, but usually it's not that case for a lot of us. So we need to start with all of those roles in us, and this can be so overwhelming and lead to burnout instantly. So to have that, as you said, is so important.
Yes, so but also about this, a suggestion that I arrived at this point of my life and career is also that it is so fucking overwhelming, and that obviously learn to delegate if you can, and find way to because you cannot be also the best in all of this. Come on. So the best is to pick the ones that you are good and best, and hopefully is dancing or teaching or both, maybe costuming, maybe, I don't know, but and try for the rest. Or maybe, like, I remember you were a web designer, so if you have started some studies in something, it can be helpful. Or if you have close friends, or then you can share, like, okay, I teach you for free, you can make me this flyer, for example, but work with other people that can be better than you onto things, and generally you have to pay, and to pay you have to gain, so you need to work to pay other people. So, but if you can invest to help, also to learn how to do it in efficiently and a better way that can adapt to your life, because it is not written nowhere that you are burned with the degrees of all these jobs. So be kind with yourself, because it's normal, it's fine, and you cannot stay, you cannot take care of all of them, and you miss some of them. Who fucking cares? The world will not fall down. You will go on anyway, and that's fine. That's fine. And you don't have to. Just do what you can. It's so much. It's so much.
Yeah, just before pressing the record button, we mentioned the work-life balance, this sentence, which is like, oof, such a important sentence to have in mind. So I think for a key takeaway here for all of our community members is really to have in mind this important balance between work, and that means delegate more, and that means do less and smarter. You know, don't do everything on yourself. So don't do 5 jobs once in a time, and then nourish your life outside of work. This is so important to be stressed, because a lot of us are workaholic, me included. So you probably know what I'm talking about. So this
yes,
is
but I'm so much better. So much.
Oh yeah.
See, yes, but that I was to. Yes, I want to say that I was the person who did 8 jobs and worked like insanely for hours and hours continuously, sleeping few hours. Like I'm absolutely, also because when you are young, you tend to wow and give too much, and like you learn with to modulate. But this is not only a way to keep the energy, but also it helps you to understand how to bring and make flow your energy in a more efficient and functional and good way, which is healthy first, and as a consequence, more effective, practical also in your way, in your life. Absolutely. But obviously it's something that you have to learn
the hard way.
Yeah. But yes, it's like probably for a young teacher, performer, organizer, it's like when you start, and but there will be maybe a moment that you will feel overwhelmed and burnout, as we were saying. And maybe at that moment they can remember my words, that it is absolutely normal. It is how it is for everyone. Less is more.
Yeah, so true. And work smarter, not harder, they say,
yes.
right?
Yes. And remember for why you are doing that. Because you like to dance, so be back dancing. Think about dance. Just dance. Do that.
Yes. Thank you so much. That resonates so much with me, like seriously. So my question now for you is, we talked about your journey into belly dance and teaching, and a lot of, we went a little bit sideways, but still on the point. And now I would love to ask you, you stepped into fusion at some point in your life, in your dance journey. And my question for you is, first, how this happened, like your first encounter with fusion. Why did you fall? You said, come back to the why you love this, right? So why, what's, if you can identify one or two reasons why you fell in love with this style, and if you can identify what is this key feature in fusion, like if there is one key feature that we can identify in fusion belly dance.
So the first time I saw at that time was it was called tribal, and it was also tribal fusion technique. It was in 2006. I was in during Erasmus, which is studying abroad. Okay, in Barcelona, and there was I don't even know how to get this. I went to, in the countryside, there was tribal Girona, which was one of super old tribal festivals at that time, and I didn't know anything about tribal fusion, and there was no one teaching tribal fusion, so no tribal fusion word was out, but it was so different from the Oriental tradition belly dance world that I was used to. All the like Arab culture, I was from that, all that. So completely different thing. There were elms, do you know, Eileen, and so zeals, music and dances, and so there was this ATS workshop that was not called ATS, but it was practically ATS. So this world so more hippie, and the afla was so fun, all different styles, and there was this girl that was doing tribal fusion. I didn't know that, and she did this step, walking very fast, and just do that with the head, and like, I don't know, something like walking, and I was like, whoa. So after that, when someone showed me, when I went back to Rome, Rachel Bryce, and I said, but I wasn't not like enthusiastic about it. Yeah, yes, but it's so dark, no smile. For me, dance is smile, it's joy, it's happiness. So I wasn't so, but then I went to Belly Dance Superstars show.
Back in the days.
Workshop with Samantha Emanuel. So Samantha Emanuel, like, let me feel in my body that technique, and so I think definitely remember also of the first image that remains in my memory. Probably the isolation technique, the way of be so precise, and how to articulate simultaneously, differently, the body parts. And also, this is something that I also value about that. But actually, this technique, it's a part of the thing, because this is what I used to call the tribal fusion technique, because it was the technique that was taught from 90 since 2015, 20, around there. But what happened is that it was a certain type of technique, that serpentine movement, that it was hypnotizing. I love that hypnotizing texture of that technique, definitely. But then when it is then really transform what it is now, which is a fusion belly dance, which is a very vague term, but it is the only thing that for now we have to call what we do, which is so varied. So what I love about the fusion belly dance is the personality, that doesn't have sense, but is the personality that Fusion Bellydance let come out from the dance. That was different from the tribal fusion, but I love from that technique that is not only a way to learn how to be a robot, but is a way of is a so powerful vehicle to be in contact with your body, to really know it and feel it, and the fact that it needs to be so focus and concentrate and be in your body is a sort of meditation, because you are in your body for a while, for a long time, forever, while you practice that technique. So like the relationship with the body and the body control, I think that also at that time of my life really tripped me up. But the evolution, and that is also what is the fusion, is that while after that you have gained all that control and connection, then you lose it. And so, because at that time also the classical style of belly dance for me, at a certain point was like a cage. I had to stay in the traditional. When I started putting some weird music like Egyptian reggae, they were like the owner of the restaurants and the clubs. No, what is that? And I didn't know anything about fusion at that time. But so like music, I remember, was the first thing that that brought me to the fusion
world.
Yeah, the need of use the music that I want to use to express me. And then in the evolution, that dance gave me the chance to, okay, someone took from this dance this and put it in the Indian part in the what it was what it is fachance, or like the popping part. So I want to go deeper in that, and I want to deepen in that. So that was a door. That style was a door for me to study directly for the sources and the dances where they were inspired by, and go and feed me in so different way that then gave me the chance to, okay, let it go, all this, but time and time
again,
and study, like absolutely need like water to feed me as a dancer, as a teacher, my creativity. Otherwise I get bored. I don't know, I need to have I love, but I think it's like it is an essential, maybe the main structure of the teacher. You know, so while I will be a teacher in my life, I don't think the student of me, even if I cannot move, but I will learn, maybe reading or maybe watching in some way. I think that it is the skeleton of the teacher.
Yeah, like a real teacher is an eternal student, right? It's just that.
It cannot be separate. Cannot.
No. It's just the two sides of the same coin.
Exactly.
It's just that.
Exactly. Exactly. And why? Because I said this, the skeleton, because I think it's something that is in it keeps it keep it in tier.
Yeah,
It's
in alignment with your
yes,
intention of teaching
yes,
and sharing.
yes.
Yeah, that was so cool. Thank you. And I love what you said, the difference between the old school tribal fusion and now the fusion belly dance, let's say post-pandemic, maybe, kind of,
Yes.
almost like these
Yes.
two sides. I've always seen them like the same kind of the same wave or the same style, but I love seeing them like actually two separate waves. There was the tribal fusion, which is its own style, its own aesthetics, its own
Yeah.
technique. And now we have the fusion, which is an umbrella, a big, huge umbrella term. Can be very,
Yes.
very vague, as you said. Like, what does it mean? I don't know. You tell me. I mean, if someone asks me, oh, what do you do? I would like to say then, okay, I'm gonna dance, and then you tell me because I don't know.
And they will tell you, oh, belly dance.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, it depends. Some
belly dance with some hip hop. Someone will tell you that, or no, with you, belly dance with the Indian. Like
yeah.
yeah.
And I would be happy with that. I would be like, thank you for giving me a tag because it's so difficult. But yeah, a conversation about tags is a whole other conversation with my schedule someday, maybe, if we want. But I'm gonna just wrap it for today. I'm gonna say thank you so much. I think we have so many beautiful key takeaways, and it was a lovely conversation. So thank you so much, Antonella.
Thank you, Barbara. Thank you very much. It was a
Thank
big
you.
pleasure.
Thank you so much for watching this video, and I hope you enjoyed this beautiful conversation with Antonella. And if you loved this video and would love to see more, I invite you to subscribe to my channel because every week I share valuable videos, tutorials, and inspiring videos like this one to support you and inspire you during your dance journey. And thank you again. I'll see you next week.